Okay, we're going to quickly review our notes for the lesson slopes of lines. So we're going to be looking at slope. The first thing we want to look at here is how to define slope, different ways that we see this written. For instance, we've seen it written as rise over run. And the formula for doing this, another way you may see that, is where we take y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which we've seen this written as increase of y, increase of x, y over x. And we have also another way of seeing that. The rate of increase in y over x. Okay, so let's look at our example here, right here. So we're going to find the slope of each of these graphs. Looking at this one, we have the points on at S and T, and the rise is how much it goes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is my rise over my run, which is 1, 2. So we have 2 right here. So it's 8 over 2. Now notice this slope, this line goes downhill from left to right, which means it's going to be negative, which when I simplify that fraction, I get negative 4. So that is my slope. M equals negative 4. This one, we have a rise of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over, it doesn't have go left or right, 0. Well, when we have a fraction with 0 the denominator, that's undefined. So our slope of all vertical lines is undefined. The next example, we're starting at G. We've got F. So we're going rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 over, starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. It's positive because it goes uphill from left to right. So this slope is 7 over 8. Alright, here we don't have a rise, do we, between these 2 points. There is no rise. So that is 0 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, any numerator that's 0 over any denominator is going to be equal to 0. And you'll see that the slope of all horizontal lines is 0. Okay. Now, what's special about the slope of parallel lines? The thing that's special here is parallel lines, they have the same slope. Whatever that slope is, they are equal. The slope of perpendicular lines, however, they are going to be opposite reciprocals. They also are going to have a product of -1. So let's look at this example right here to see this. We're going to find the slope of the red line first. Let's use this point. It looks like here to here. So we've got a rise of up 1 over 2. It's going downhill from left to right, so it's -1/2. Our blue line, let's look at this and this. It's got a rise of 2, and it's got a run of 1, and it's positive because it goes uphill from left to right. You'll see that they are opposite reciprocals. They're reciprocals and they have opposite signs. When we multiply negative 1/2 times 2 over 1, we get negative 2 over 2, which is equal to negative 1. Okay? Alright, so let's look at this question. Determine whether A, B, and CD are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So they give us those points. What we have to do is we have to take AB, find out what the slope is, then we have to take CD, find out what the slope is, and then compare them to see if they're the same, if they're opposite reciprocals, and if they're not either of those, then they're neither parallel nor perpendicular. So, for AB, we've got these 2 points. We'll just call this x1, y1, x2, y2. You could do it any way you wanted. So we'll subtract, we'll take negative 1 minus negative 3. All I did is I took y2 and I subtracted y1 over x2, negative 2, minus x1, which is 1 here. This ends up being 1 plus 3 over 2 minus 2 is negative 3, which is actually that's not correct. Well, negative 1 plus 3 would give us 2 over negative 3. So that's my slope of AB. Okay, so now let's find out CD. We're going to go ahead and say negative 3 minus 0 over 7 minus 5. Well, negative 3 minus 0 is negative 3. 7 minus 5 is 2. We get a slope of negative 3 over 2. Are these two slopes the same? No, so these are not parallel lines. Are they opposite reciprocals? Well, they're both negative. If they're both negative, they're definitely not opposite, so they're not perpendicular, which means these lines are neither parallel nor perpendicular. Okay, more things to look at in our notes for this lesson. Horizontal lines. One thing to remember, they always have a slope of 0. And the equation for horizontal lines are always starting with y equals. In this case, it crosses the y-axis at 3, which means y equals 3. Vertical lines, on the other hand, they always have a slope that's undefined. And they're always going to start with x equals. If you forget, vertical lines cross the x-axis, therefore their equations are x equals. And it crosses the x-axis here at negative 2. So in this case, the equation for this line is x equals negative 2. Alright, that's all I have for the notes for this lesson. Tomorrow we'll continue looking at point-slope form and slope-intercept form.